Hey, this is Mike Stidole with GKIC. Thanks so much for coming on today. There was a last minute switch because Dave D is actually having internet problems. So if you're wondering who the better looking younger version of Dave is, that is me. I'm one of the lead generation directors here at GKIC and just want to welcome you today. I'm actually super excited. We've got Russell Brunson on with us today, and he's going to go through just some amazing strategies that are really underground strategies to grow your business online. So I just want to thank you for being here today, and thank you, Russell, for coming on. And I wanted to bring you on, and I appreciate your time. You just came out with a book, and I was hoping you could tell our people a little bit about this today.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for having me here, yeah, I'm really excited. It's my first real book, and I was lucky enough to have Dan Kennedy actually write the foreword for it, and I'm excited to this is what it looks like right here. I got one of the first. We got some copies off the press, and the publishers actually let us ship them finally on the 21st. So I got one of the few copies that's actually out there, and it's exciting. So I'm excited to talk about today, and to hopefully give you guys some awesome ideas for your business and how to scale it and grow it online.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Russell. And one of the reasons we're really excited to have you here is because you spoke at our Info Summit just a few months back. I guess that was, what, November now? And you packed the room there, first of all, and just gave amazing content for like 3 hours. And people have been asking for more and more of you, and really appreciate your time. I know with the book coming out, that's a pretty big deal. And for those of you who are on, if you want a free copy of Russell's book, he's actually made that available. So if you just scroll down on the page you're watching on right now, and you can click on the button and you can get a free copy before it even comes out. You'll reserve your copy, and then it'll be shipped in a couple weeks. I just got a call from one of your people today, Russell, telling me it's coming out, shipping on the 21st, and was real helpful. So go ahead, click on that button down there, get a free copy. And Russell, I'm going to kind of let you take it from here, but ask you on today because you just had amazing strategies and stuff that you were going to tell. But do you want to start out with just kind of your background and who you are, and why should people be listening to you?
Yeah, definitely. So it's funny. People always tell me I look like I'm 12 years old, but I've actually been doing this business online for about 12 years, which is fun. And it's kind of cool. I got started when I was in college. I was trying to figure out how to make extra money, and this is on my desk right now. This is my very first product ever. It was a DVD teaching people how to make potato guns. So this is my background, is potato gun making. I was never a marketing guy or anything or business at all. I just wanted to make some extra money online, and that's kind of where it started. When I was in college, I started doing this in my senior year in college. I made about $250,000 that year. Within a year, graduated, made $1 million. And funny about that time is actually when I met Dan Kennedy for the first time. Someone had sent me one of his courses, and I remember I started listening to it. And at first, I was like, this guy's like, he's not very pleasant. Like I wasn't like a big Dan Kennedy fan at first, and then but I kept going through the course. Within about 2 or 3 hours going into it, I was like, wow, like this is amazing. Like this is the best stuff I've ever heard. And I got so excited. I remember I called GKIC up the next day, and I was like, how do I get into like one of those? Because he talked about his mastermind. How do I get into a mastermind? And they're like, well, they're booked out for like a year or two in advance, and I'm like, I need to get in, and they're like, well, there's no spots. And I'm like, I kept begging them, and finally they're like, here's an application, fill it out, there's no way you're getting in, there's like a big waiting list. So I filled the application, and I kept calling them and bugging them, and it was funny because one day finally some lady called me back, like, fine, we'll let you in, like, quit calling us. And then she sent me the order form, and I can't remember, it was like $25,000 back then. And I was like, like, I don't have that kind of money, but like I'd been begging so much I couldn't say no at that point. So like all right, so I put it on my credit card, and I was like just hoping. And I remember I went to my first meeting, and it was actually Bill Glazer was running it, and that was like when I first became like a passionate student of this marketing thing, and really started understanding how all this stuff works. It's not just like tricks on the internet about how to get ads or whatever. It's like how to build a really solid business. And I spent the next 10 years growing multiple companies for myself and for other people. And that's kind of what this book is all about. Like I always tell people, like, it took me 12 years to like earn this book. Like I had to go and like lose millions of dollars and screw up and make failures, and then from that have successes and learn things and have a lot of stuff. And it took me 12 years to kind of earn it, and then spent a year writing this book, going through everything that I personally teach right now in my $25,000 mastermind groups and the process we take companies through. And that's kind of that's kind of what it is, and kind of how I guess I got here. I owe a huge debt to Dan and to Bill and to GKIC because I mean I was in the Titanium Mastermind group for I think 6 or 7 years, and so had a huge impact on me and my thought process and everything. So kind of fun.
No, that's awesome, Russell. And I know that we said the title of this was going to be 5 Underground Secrets. I know from listening to you, you give about 5 strategies a minute half the time. So if you don't have pen and paper, grab a pen and paper now because he's going to start rocking and rolling and going through stuff here, and you're going to want to write down what he says. And Russell, I know we talked about a couple of things, but one of the things people always like to know is what's one of the first things you do. So if you were going to wanted to generate profits quickly, what do you think the first thing you should do, and where should people start?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's funny because if you would ask me this question 5 or 6 years ago, I'd probably give me a different answer. I remember a few years ago, I built my company up pretty big to the point where we had about 100 employees, and I remember waking up one day sick to my stomach because I was like miserable. I'm like, this is horrible. I have all these employees, all these things, and I had a seminar coming up, and I didn't really want to do the seminar, all these things. And I was just like, I remember being really kind of depressed, and I remember about that time I sat back and said, you know what, like, what do I want to do when I grow up? Like, what business do I want to be in? And I sat down and we spent a lot of time like trying to figure out like who is our dream customer. In fact, so chapter 1 of the book I talk about, I call it the secret formula, and the process of that is like the first thing is like figuring out like who's your dream client, like who's the person you actually want to serve. Most people don't think much about that. Like, here's a little image from it. I don't know if you guys can see that here very well.
So you guys paid for the best artists to come out and do this, huh?
Oh yeah, sketch it all out.
Yeah.
For me, it's the process. My first step is like I got to really become very clear on like who it is I want to serve, because I woke up to a customer group I didn't like serving them. They were frustrating, they were hard, and so I just sit back and say like who do I actually want to serve? Like, who's my dream client? We're in business, we can choose who we want to work with. I need to really identify who that is. And so for me, like I wrote up like a list, like this is all the criteria of my dream client. This is what they do. This is who they're not. And I figured I became very clear on that, and that was kind of my first step. And then my second step, I sat back and said, like, what can I create? Like, what kind of bait can I create that's going to get that person to come to me, right? And most of us don't think about that. Most of us, we're in business, we're creating products, we're throwing things out there, we're doing stuff. We don't really think about it this way. And for me, this is a big mindset shift. Is like, who's my dream client? What do I need to create to go and get that person? And it was funny for us, but feedback there. On our side, we this happened. I'd say probably about 2 years ago or so. We came out with a book, and this became like the bait for our dream client, and it was cool. It's called 100 Improvement Split Test Winners, and we put this out there, and the goal of it was to attract people we want to work with. We want to work with real business owners who have successful businesses, who are making money. And when we put this out there, it was kind of cool because it attracted those people. People that have a business, they saw that like, oh, I want that book, I want to get a copy of it, and it got our dream clients. But the other cool thing is the clients that I didn't like working with were like the business opportunity seekers, the people who are trying to get rich on the internet. And this product like repelled those people, right? They saw this and they're like 108 split test winners. Like, what does that mean? How's that gonna make me money on the internet? And they didn't buy it, and they left. And the most amazing thing happened where it repelled the people I didn't want to work with, and it brought in all the people we did. And it's funny, from this book, we sold last year about 10,000 copies of this, and from this book we were able to fill over 150 people joined my high-level mastermind groups because of this book, and they were all like the people I wanted to work with, like my dream clients. And so I think that's really the first step, is really getting clear on exactly who it is you want to work with, because you got to spend time with them every day. You got to be creating products for them and teaching them and serving them, whatever it is. So become very clear on that, and then figure out like what's the bait, like what's the thing I got to create that's gonna like attract that person and make them want to come into my world. And when you figure out those two things, that's when you can make money really, really quickly and have fun doing it. So you're not like I was, where I wake up one day sick to my stomach, but instead you wake up excited because like, man, these are the people I get to hang out with. This is who I get to serve. This is who my clients are, and that was really kind of one of the biggest changes that we made a little while ago.
No, that's very cool, Russell. And one of the coolest things, guys, if you're watching this, you got to definitely click on the button below, because not just about the book, you got to check out these funnels that Russell puts together. I mean, this is how he makes him and literally thousands of people thousands to millions of dollars. Because the coolest thing, Russell, that I think is looking at your process and what you do. I mean, you don't make a lot of money, theoretically, selling a free book. Yet you say you filled up a mastermind program that's what, 25, 35,000 bucks a year by giving away a book. So if you guys are watching, you definitely got to click below, check out this funnel that he's put together for this, that 108 split test, Russell. One of the funny things is I had brought that with me to Info Summit there because I was going to do some reading on the plane. I think it had gotten shipped to me the week before, and I hadn't had a chance to look through it, so I had it in the back of the room. You gave a copy to our VP of Sales, Nick Luisi, here, and he sees me with the copy, and he tells me I stole his. I'm like, I actually paid for mine. You got yours for free there, but no, we've been passing them around the office. You were nice enough to send us a bunch of them. So our web team pours through that and everything. But Russell, I mean, one of the next points that you really have is you talk about a story about a client who started spending 116 bucks to make $97, and what you told them kind of flies in the face of conventional wisdom, and we kind of alluded to it. But can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's hard to stay in business long when you're spending $116 to make 97. Excuse me. And it's funny. It was one of my friends. He owns a company called FitLife.tv, and at first they didn't start in that process. They started very profitable. They were growing a business, and they were making over $1 million a year. Excuse me, but eventually, like because so many people saw their offer and ad costs and all these things, they got more and more expensive, and eventually, they went from being profitable to breaking even to losing money in every single sale, and they called me up and had me come out and work with them for a while, and they're just like, this is, like, we're making $1 million a year and we're losing money. Like, how in the world is this possible? And it was kind of interesting because they thought, like, hey, it's it's got to be a split test. Like, come to my page and tell me how do I need to tweak my headline, or what's this, or what's that. And I remember sitting down with those guys and saying, look, this is the reality. Like it's not like a split test, or it's not you don't need more traffic because that's just going to lose you more money. You don't need better conversions. Like the issue you have is a little bit deeper than that. And for them, what the issue was is that they didn't really have a good sales process, right? Like you talked about the free book. Like when you guys get the free book, if nothing else, like $7.95 shipping handling. If nothing else, like pay the $7.95 just to watch the process. Like go slowly as you're doing it. Like this is me spending 4 or 5 months architecting and crafting every single page, every word, every single page. Like watch the process, because this is what these guys paid me a ton of money to come out and do for them, right? So I go out there for them, and that was the thing, is that they had their product, but that was kind of it. There's a quote in the book from Dan Kennedy where he says, oh man, my mind's gonna blank out now that I'm on the spot. The person who can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. Sure. That's the goal. So these guys, the problem is that they could only spend $97 to acquire a $97 customer. They couldn't get any bigger. So for them, we just had to come back and we had to create like an actual sales funnel. What's the sales process? Like someone buys this, where do you take them? What's the upsell? What's the downside? Like what are all the pieces that go into place so that every customer's coming in, you're maximizing how much value comes through them. And so for them, it wasn't a hard process. We had to tweak some things, and suddenly they went from, spending $116 to make $97 to now they're spending $116 but they're making $300 or $400 or more. And that's when you get those kind of metrics. Now you can scale a business. Now you can grow it. And so for me, like it's funny with them or with anyone that I work with or anyone who goes through the book, like that's what we're trying to do, is figuring out you're acquiring customers and how do we tweak the sales process so that every person that's coming in is making you're break even or profitable or really profitable. And that's what this book goes into, that is really understanding that and the pieces and all the things you can and you should be doing to get that to make that work. And so I recommend, again, when you get the book, like watch the process, because if nothing else, like you will learn so much from that. You go back to all of your products or all the things you're selling and saying, look, Russell did this, I should probably do that. He did this, I should. It gives you a really good model that you can look at for all of your products and services as well.
Yeah, Russell, I think what you said that's so important. You kind of used the quote from Dan. Those who can afford to spend more to attract a customer win. And a lot of people confuse that with those who have to spend more, and that's not what Dan's saying at all. And what you do that's so cool, Russell, is a lot of us, we used to measure the customer lifetime value, I mean, in 30, 60, 90 days, might be 180 days, might be 10 years for some people. But, I mean, you take the value and you maximize it with, like, 4, 5, 6 immediate steps that really add value to that relationship. So instead of having to wait 30 or 60 or 180 days or even years, which can still be profitable in the right niche, you show people how to do it with your book and how they can literally do this in one session on your computer.
Yeah, I agree. 'Cause I stress out, like, I had a business before where we broke even after 45 days, and I could not sleep at night. Like, it stressed me out so much knowing I got to wait 45 days to make my money back. And so for me, like, if I don't break even immediately, then I don't do the business. Like, it just stresses me out. And I like being profitable on the front end. And so yeah, it's all about this process, like all those tweaks and things you do in place. Because I think most businesses can. Like, you don't have to wait 30, 60, 90, or even further out to be profitable or break even. If you structure the process right, you can do it. Like in our case, we do it immediately. We always break even at point of sale or make a profit. Otherwise, we walk away from the business. Like, that's just kind of my philosophy. And some people think that's not possible, but it is if you take the time and the effort to put the process in place. If you do that, boom. I mean, right now, just you know, like, I'll be completely transparent. For every free book we give away, at point of sale we make $32. That's right now from the whole process. And so I can go and spend up to $32 to give away a book right now, and we have been. And I'm at break even. And most of the traffic sources we're giving away for a lot cheaper than that. And so it's still highly profitable for us. And that's just step one in our funnel. And then there's other things that happen obviously as well. But what's cool is when you break even at point of sale from the first thing, everything else you do is just pure profit. And that's, for me, that's the kind of business that I like to play with.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, most people, I mean, you listen to some of the old courses about selling mastermind programs or high-ticket area exclusives, that type of thing, and people talk about how they'd spend $3,000 to $8,000, sometimes even $10,000 or $12,000 to sell a $30,000 or $50,000 program. And sure, why wouldn't you? But they shell that money out up front. What you've done, you created that split test book. You were making money on the front end of that, and then you also filled out your $30,000.
It's all pure profit. We keep all that at the end, which is the best part, right?
Yeah, no kidding. So that's awesome. So Russell, who is this book for? Is this just for online marketers? Can brick and mortar people use this? Can professional practices? Who should be getting this book?
That's a good question. It's kind of funny actually when you read Dan's forward, because I first sent it to him, I'm like, hey, we write this book, the forward for my book, and he's like, I don't do that for internet books. And I'm like, well, this is like, technically it is, but like, just read it. Like, I promise, read it and you'll see that it's not. And so he read it and he wrote back. He's like, okay, I get it. This is not an internet book. This is more than that. And in this forward, he talks about that. He's like, it's kind of cool. But no, it's for anyone who wants to leverage the internet for their business. And so it works for someone if you're a chiropractor or a dentist or you own a restaurant, whatever it is. It'll show you how to create online funnels and things to be able to acquire customers profitably, and then you can move them wherever you want. But it's not just for online businesses. It's for any kind of business. Any business that can use leads or money, it'll help you. It's funny because even these funnels, like, whereas a lot of these we're showing you how the online process. When I consult with companies, a lot of times they are traditionally offline. But I look at, like, for me, everything's funnels, right? When someone walks into your store, like, what's the process you take them through? You know, what's the first person interaction with them, and then where do they go, and where do they go, and you know, at the register, what's the process? And even if you're a 100% retail type store, the funnel concepts you learn about here can be replicated offline as well. But you know, I think that we're in a day and age where anyone and everyone can and should be generating leads online. And this book is the key to how we generate free. You know, all of our leads are free, or we're getting paid for every lead that joins our list. And that's the sweet spot when you can keep your business in that spot where you're getting paid for every lead that comes in.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, because in this book you really go through the strategies, but one of the things, I mean, smart to do and just kind of letting people in on the big secret here. I mean, you give them the strategies in this book, and that's why you're giving them away for free. And you also, though, provide the tools that they need, because the internet and making money using the internet, and I consider that differently than making money online. You're driving people maybe to a store, your practice, whatever, by using the power of the media of the internet. But you give people with ClickFunnels the ability to do this easier than it ever has been, to string a bunch of pages along. I mean, you can do webinars through this. You can have upsells. You can have immediate things. You can have thank you pages. You got everything just at the click of your buttons. You need no programming knowledge or anything. I mean, you hire a high school kid, and they've got this done for them.
Oh, so yeah.
It's not just the strategy that got to pay someone 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand to build this out for you. but you do it so that, hey, here's the strategies, you like it, you can go do it, or if you can't go do it on your own, here's a tool that you can use. And I mean, the cost is incredibly reasonable for that too. So that's very cool. So online works, obviously. Offline works though too. They can use this.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's awesome, Russell. So now, one of the things that I like, and I loved that I got the call today from from you guys when I ordered the book. Unfortunately, I was about to jump into a meeting, so I couldn't see that whole process and what was going on. But I thought that was very cool. But one of the other things that's cool that you talk about is how you've made literally hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars with 800 numbers. So can you tell a little bit about that? Because I mean, everyone says, I mean, 800 numbers are dead, or the strategy will never work, that type of thing. But you talk about how with, I think it was a single 800 number in a local paper generated just tons of leads for you.
Yeah, well, there's a couple different ways to look at it. First off, I'll share a story about how I kind of learned this stuff, and then second from there. But when I was a young kid, it's kind of funny. I was supposed to go to bed one night, and my dad was doing taxes or something, and I was sitting there watching the news with him, and then like the news ended. And usually he's like, Russell, go to bed, but that night he was just working. I think he forgot I was there. So I'm laying there, and all of a sudden the news ends, and then like this infomercial pops up, and it's this guy named Don Lepre, and he's selling this course about how to place tiny little classified ads in newspapers. And again, I'm a 12-year-old kid, and this guy's talking, and my eyes just bug out of my head. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is insane. And I got so excited. And I remember looking over with my dad, like, are you paying attention to this guy? Like, he's making we could be millionaires, Dad. I want to place ads and classified ads. And finally, I'm like, Dad, can we buy that? And he's like, looks at me like, no, we don't buy, like, that stuff's like a scam or whatever he thought, right?
Yeah.
But I was sold. Like, maybe I'm a gullible 12-year-old, but I was in. And so I went and I wrote down the 1-800 number, and I started earning money for my dad to be able to buy it. So I had to mow lawns for a couple months, and then I had $40 to buy this kit, to order the kit, and I got that. And I learned about classified ads. That was my first the first thing I learned. So then I started getting classified ads and looking at them and looking at different ads and calling the 1-800 numbers there and learning and seeing what they were doing, and they'd ship me out kits, you know. And then I remember I bought Small Business Opportunity magazine. I saw the ads in there. I was calling all the 1-800 numbers, and I started just watching this process over and over again. In fact, one of them, Michael Gravett, who's a GKIC man for forever, I was 12 years old, and I saw his ad for his business opportunity with stun guns and stuff. And I called the number, and I talked to this person. They sent me out this info kit in the mail, right? And I read the info kit, and from there they sold me this business opportunity, and I paid money for that. And I went through this whole process. And it was funny is I did this when I was 12 years old, and then like 10 years later, 15 years later, I was at a GKIC event, and I was walking in the hall, and I see Michael Gravett, and I'm like, dude, like, when I was 12 years old, I bought your thing. And anyway, we kind of hit it off, but it was just kind of a funny thing. But I was looking at this process, and I realized that this is the thing, right? There's an ad for you to call a number. You call the number. They send you out something in the mail. You read this letter in the mail, and they sell you something. You know, and I was watching this process. This was a sales funnel, like this, obviously an offline sales funnel. But that was kind of my introduction. And then fast forward 10 years later, when I started doing the internet business, I started seeing like how similar this process was. You know, but instead of me calling 1-800 number, I was going to a landing page and saying, hey, give me your email address, and I'll give you this free report. So I put in my email address and take me to a page, and it was this long sales letter, just like the one I was getting mailed to me. And I'd read the sales letter, and it would sell me a product, and I'd buy the product. I was looking like how similar these two processes were. The offline world and the online world were identical. They were just kind of different media that was doing it. And that was kind of my big aha. And I started looking back at all the stuff I was studying when I was a little kid, and all the junk mail I was getting, and thinking, I need to replicate this process online. And we started doing that. And that was really kind of the beginning of my understanding of the funnels and how a sales funnel works. And it was kind of cool. And it's funny, in our business nowadays, you know, we are obviously an online business, but we still use, like you talked about, 1-800 numbers in our business now. We have a supplement company we just actually sold about 3 weeks ago. We have classified ads. People call 1-800 numbers, and they call in. We do postcards. They call it same 1-800 number. They call in. You know, we do direct mail pieces. Like, everything we're doing the same. And for me, it's just like it's the beginning of a funnel. And from there, we get them on the phone, and then we take them through the same kind of a process. And so it's just fascinating to see how similar the offline world and the online world work. And when you understand that, it starts giving you ideas like, wow, what they do here? Like, how can I replicate it here? And that's what, again, in the book, we go into a lot of depth. In fact, I wonder if I can find the picture real quick. I'm a picture nerd.
Okay. Yeah, for sure, Russ. And well, you find that I think one of the coolest things that you talk about is you were 12 and you were going through classified ads in newspapers, magazines, that type of thing, calling in. So I mean, at the time, you never thought you'd be where you are, or you probably did. I mean, you thought you'd do that when you were 12, though. You're way behind the eight ball. You weren't a millionaire by the time you were
Forever.
But no, you recalling all this stuff. I mean, it's everything that we teach everyone to do is you got to study your competition. You see what they're doing, you see what works, and then where you leapfrogged everybody was you took that and applied it to a new media. You found what funnels were working in the past, had been working for literally hundreds of years, and you took it to a new media and used it a different way. So I think that's just an awesome lesson for people. So you found
There's the picture. I don't know how well you can see it, but that's talking about old media versus new. You know, we got direct mail and email. We've got networking versus Facebook, TV versus or with YouTube, radio and podcasts. Like it's you're right. The processes are the same. Same stuff I learned from Dan when I was 10 years ago, and how to get radio ads or direct whatever. It's the same thing. It's just a different media source. When you understand that, it opens up the whole world to you. You're like, wow, it's just a new media channel. I got to understand how to harness it. And as soon as you do, the rules of direct response are the same, and it's powerful.
No, absolutely. And one of the reasons we love having you, Russell, I mean, there's a million quote unquote like internet gurus out there, and a lot of people are good, but a lot of them are kind of one-trick ponies. I mean, a lot are bad also, but they find something that they can exploit on the internet right now. I mean, what you teach are really the funnels. You teach the strategies and use online and media to do that. I mean, you've been around for years, even though, I mean, I'm not sure if you look 12. I think you look about 16 by now and stuff, but you're aging gracefully in any case. But I mean, you've been around for long enough. I mean, you write for a Diamond newsletter every month. You compare some websites, make some tweaks for people, everything like that. So, I mean, you're the real deal. You've been around. It's not like you just got introduced a year ago and you're the new thing and no one's ever going to hear from you again a year from now. So, knock on wood, right? Anyways, so Russell, one of the things, one of your favorite things, you love to talk about traffic and traffic sources, and you say you've got a top few, you say up to 5, that you can always get a positive ROI on, kind of no matter what page style and that you use. So you want to talk some about traffic and just your thoughts on traffic, and then your favorite traffic sources.
Yeah, in fact, I'll share something I think a little bit even cooler than that I think you guys will all benefit from. Man, probably 6 or 7 years ago, I read a book from Chet Holmes called The Ultimate Sales Machine, and I think, an amazing book. And one of the chapters in there, he talked about a concept he called the Dream 100, and what he was using, he was working for Charlie Munger with his magazine. He was supposed to be selling ads in the magazine, and they were like the worst, like they were the bottom rung. They were like not selling any ads at all. And so first he was going out, got hired to help raise, increase sales. So he went out there. First they're going out and just contacting everyone, and finally he realized, he's like, look, we're like spinning our wheels, not making any money at all. So he said, I want to find out who are the advertisers that spend the most amount of money, and he built out what he called his Dream 100 list. So these are the guys spending the most amount of money. He said, let's only focus on them. Let's not focus on anybody else. Took the top 100 and he started an aggressive marketing campaign to them, where he would send out, he sent out a lumpy direct mail piece, and then 2 weeks later, you call him on the phone, and send him out something else, and 2 weeks later, call him on the phone. He kept doing this consistently. Within 6 months, I think he had closed like all of the top advertisers into their magazine. They went from being the bottom one to the most revenue of all the magazines, just by doing that Dream 100 process. And I read that, I was like, wow, that's cool. But I was like, but I'm not really going after clients one at a time. But how can I use that strategy? And I started thinking about that. I said, you know what, like, there are a lot of people out there that are my dream clients, right? Someone like, let's say, like you guys, GKC, for example, or Tony Robbins, or whoever. And I'm not trying to sell you guys anything, but like, if I can become a partner with you guys and get you guys to promote my stuff or whatever, like that's my dream client. So I sat back and said, I'm going to build a Dream 100 list of my 100 dream partners, people who have lists of all of my customers, right? And so I built out a Dream 100 list, and we started like doing what Chet did, aggressively marketing to these people, right? How do we send them stuff? How do we open up avenues? And so so if you look at my traffic strategies, they all tie around this Dream 100 concept. And so there's a couple different things we do. There's 4 or 5 different ways that we try to work with our Dream 100. So the first one, and by far like what's the best for us, is we try to get them to help to do like a partnership, right? Send an email for us, or promote us, or put them on a blog, or something like that. And so we send out gifts to our Dream 100 every single month. In fact, I'm sure you guys got these, like before we did our book launch, 2 months ago, I sent out a copy of the book with a T-shirt to everyone of my Dream 100. Right? They all got this cool gift in the mail. And then a month later, everyone got a Ferrari keychain in the mail. And then this one we just put in the mail today, where I have this letter that's going out first class mail to everyone today. That again, it's just I'm sending these things to my Dream 100. Sometimes they're gifts, sometimes they're cool things. Just I'm sending them stuff so that they know that I'm there, right? And hopefully through that process I'll be able to get to close some deals. So that's one piece of it, right? Second thing is a lot of times it doesn't matter how many times I contact my Dream 100, some of them will never do a deal with me. Right? I just know they never will, right? Like I'm friends with Tony Robbins. He wrote a quote for the book and stuff, but I know that he's never going to promote me to his people. He just doesn't do that. So I got to think, well, he's got millions of people that are followers that I would love to tap into them. Like how else can I leverage that person on my Dream 100 list? And so for Tony, for example, like again, he's not going to promote me, but on Facebook, he's got like 1.2 million followers on Facebook, and so I can go to Facebook and give them money, and all of a sudden my ad shows up to all of Tony's 1.2 million followers. Yeah. And all of a sudden now I'm leveraging my Dream 100 through Facebook, and I do it through Twitter and through YouTube. I can start targeting their people at that level, which is kind of cool. One really cool strategy we just started doing, and we're going to be doing it to GKIC soon, so you guys will probably see it. This is like a freebie for you guys, so hopefully you like this. The first person we're doing this test with is, if you guys know Dave Asprey, a Bulletproof Executive, he's got a huge following of like my dream customers, right? And so what I did is I went and I bought $1,000 worth of his stuff, and like his supplements and his books and like all this stuff, and I got a desk, and I put them all on this desk, and I recorded a video of me saying, hey, if you like the Bulletproof Executive and Dave Asprey, I've got $1,000 worth of his stuff. I'm going to give it away for free. If you want to get it for free, put your email address in here. I'm going to pick a winner next week, and you're going to get this entire thing shipped out to you for free, right? And so now I got this really cool thing, and I'm going to all Dave Asprey's fans, and I'm promoting it. They can get free Bulletproof stuff. And again, we're about to launch a campaign. But my guess is I'll probably get 20 or 30,000 people from his list to join my list because they want to win his free thing, right?
Sure.
I went to eBay the other day, and I bought about $1,000 worth of old Dan Kennedy courses off eBay that are all like cool, like original, like the authentic, like old stuff, right? And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna have a big video, and I'm gonna target everyone who's a Dan Kennedy fan and enter this drawing for free $1,000 Dan Kennedy bundle, and hopefully get a whole bunch of leads from there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about my Dream 100. Like I've got 100 partners. First off, try to get them to promote. Second off, how do I target their customers through Facebook and other avenues? You know, doing contests with giving away product. There's so many cool ways you can leverage that. But I look at all of our traffic generation strategies. They're all tied to that Dream 100. And so for me, whenever I'm working with anyone, and that's my first step, is like, if you want to get traffic or customers or leads, you got to figure out who that is. And some of you guys might be thinking, well, you know, I'm a chiropractor down the street. I don't have a Dream 100. And in fact, one of my friends is a chiropractor. I just went through this exercise with him, which is probably why chiropractor popped in my head. But I was like, yeah, there's not like a Dream 100 of chiropractors, but in your local area, who are the other business owners that have similar demographics, similar customers, right? So for him, we figured out that there's like Accident Warriors have his dream customers, gyms have his dream customers. We figured out, you know, 5 or 10 or 15 different people or different companies that are in his general area that have those customers. And then he's going to all of them right now, and he's saying, hey, do you have a customer list? Do you have dead files of people that have come in your business that no longer come in? And almost all of them do. And he's going back through and helping these guys put together a list of their customers and then doing cross promotions with their customers. And he's using that Dream 100. You know, for him it's like a Dream 15, but he's using that to leverage to get all sorts of to get their customers. And it's just a brilliant strategy from an offline or an online tactic to get people to start coming and buying your stuff.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, what you just said, you can use that in so many different things. I mean, in a retail environment, like you said, I mean, you could do that restaurant, you could be doctors, you could be whatever. I mean, I love that strategy with giving the $1,000 of stuff away. And I mean, you don't have $1,000. Start with $100 or $50 of a gift card or gift certificate. I mean, but a local restaurant, there's nothing that would stop them from actually targeting another restaurant's list and giving away a gift card, obviously, to your own restaurant. But targeting their list, say, if you love such and such, you should check out us. I mean, so you can absolutely apply these strategies across the board. So, no, that's very cool. I can't wait for the GKIC one. So the Bulletproof Executive, I got to admit, I tried the Bulletproof coffee, and the oil and the butter just wasn't my thing, but a lot of people like it a lot.
Absolutely.
So good deal. So Russell, you talk a lot about, I mean, you are the king of doing split testing, and you talk about why that's important. However, I mean, what I like about what you're talking about now is that it's the overall strategy. I mean, yeah, split testing, that's what you do when you've got the foundation there. The split testing is like what color is the paint on the house. But so many people start with these split tests when they don't even have a house. I mean, it's ridiculous. So .com Secrets to me, that's really what tells you how to build your foundation, really build that structure that you're going to build the rest of your business on. Then you can layer in these other things. But one of the things you do talk about in this book is a certain landing page styles that work better than others. Can you talk a little bit about, I mean, let's even assume, if I don't know what a landing page is, I've just got a website. I mean, what do you mean by landing page? And, I mean, what do you want? What are the key elements that you want to have on your landing page?
Yeah, so landing page is like the first page in the funnel they actually hit, right? People are coming in and it's like, what's the first thing that they're going to see when they land on your site? And a lot of it depends on where the people are coming from. And I know that a lot of people think and they believe like that one landing page fits everyone's coming through, but the reality is that's not true. Okay, and so we break things up based on different things. Like for example, we know that that there's some traffic, there's some people coming to your website that are very familiar with you, right? We call it warm traffic or hot traffic. They know who you are, they love you, they have a good relationship, and excuse me, the reality is you can put up almost anything and those guys are buy because they already love you. Okay, and so with landing pages like that, like we don't have to do a lot. It's just kind of like, hey, buy my stuff, and they're like, all right, sweet, I'm in. Okay, but then there's warm traffic. Okay, and warm traffic doesn't really know who you are. Usually it's like a partner or someone that has a relationship and they're trying to introduce you. And so you don't have to be that good at selling at that point. You just have to sell well, but it's a lot easier because you have a friend or someone saying, hey, you know, so Russell's really cool. You should check out his new thing, and you don't have to be that good at selling. And then there's cold traffic who has no idea who you are. They don't even, you know, they clicked on some random ad. And for those people, there's more you have to do to kind of sell them. And so a lot of the landing page depends on is it a warm person coming, a cold, or warm, medium, or cold. So that's kind of one thing we're looking at. But one thing that we found across the board that for whatever reason works super, super good is when someone comes there, if the first thing is not like, hey, buy my stuff, or even the first thing's not, hey, give me your email address, but the first thing's like almost like a mini survey. We have these little survey funnels that are it's funny because the surveys are dumb, like they're not even like a real survey, but they like double, triple, quadruple the sales on the back, and it's really it blows my mind. Like the first page just comes like our landing page. Most of our landing pages come to us like, hey, I'm curious, did you hear about us? Or it says like, welcome to our page, or whatever. Before we get started, like, how did you hear from us? Did you hear from us from Tony Robbins, Dan Kennedy, Oprah Winfrey, or other? Okay. And it's just like they're like other, and then take the next page. Cool. What's your email address? And then they put their email address. And like just by asking that one little thing, like just a question on the first page, it's the weirdest thing. But a lot of times we'll see 2 or 3 times increased conversion on the second page, and then the third, like everything else across the board. And it's weird. I didn't think, I was like, that had to have been a fluke. So we tried to like with our supplement, and it's like, hey, did you hear about our supplement from Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, Oprah, or other? And we haven't been on any of those shows, and so everyone clicks other. But then like because they've engaged in the process, it's really like they take that first step, then they're more likely to keep going. Like it's a really slippery slope. If you can get someone to engage with you, that it's kind of like I remember I learned this from Dan. Like back in the old days, they used to have like the magazine ads, right? And you open up, and they had like this long form ad, and the bottom would have like little dotted line around the thing with little scissors. And they said by adding that stupid people would like cut this thing out and increase conversions because they engage with it. And so we kind of found the same thing on landing pages. If you can get people engaged somehow, even if it's just something completely ridiculous and dumb, like, hey, where'd you hear about us? For whatever reason, because they take that first step, it's hard for people not to stop. Like it's like a slippery slope after that. And so that's just like a little trick that works on all sorts of traffic, and gets people to begin the process. And as soon as they start, they feel more comfortable giving you their email, buying. Everything else becomes easier for them because they've started the process and they've given you that first little commitment. And as soon as you get that first commitment, after that, everything else is easier. It's really weird.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Russell. I'm really rooting on because I love what you said about you haven't been on any of those shows. You haven't been on Oprah or Dr. Oz or Dr. Phil or anything. Well, but the thing it does, I mean, just by putting it there, I mean, and
you must have been on Dr. Oz.
Celebrity to your business. I mean, you've never said you were on those shows, but now just by having those options, they're like, holy crap, he was probably on Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil and Oprah and stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome. There's a little inside tip for you guys. So it's the survey funnel, and I I know you go through that in the book along with a bunch of other different types of funnels. So that's very cool. Well, Russell, one of the big things that's the hottest thing now, I mean, just because of the way Google went back, I mean, really a couple of years ago, and Facebook, they're doing a lot now to kind of weed out people who aren't content and really serve people up something that's a stickier landing page. So you talk a lot about how to turn blog posts into kind of modified squeeze pages without really detracting from the quality of your content or chasing visitors away and stuff. So can you talk about why that's important and some of the strategies behind that?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of foundation to that question too is, and again, it's all stuff that we talked about in the books. If you want more of that concept, like dig deep in here. But I'm a big believer that there's 3 types of traffic, and only 3. There's traffic that you control. Okay, so I control this traffic. I go to Facebook, I buy an ad, I can control where I send that traffic. Okay. The second is traffic I don't control. So that's like someone goes to Google and types in something, they find my page, they show up, or they see some PR or someone else talks about it, and they show up my site. I don't control that person, they show up. And then third type is traffic that I own. That's the best traffic. That's where they're on my list, they're my readers. I can send an email and I own them. I go to this website or go to this website. And so my goal is always to transform both traffic that I control and traffic that I don't control into traffic that I own. Like that's my entire goal when I'm driving traffic is convert this from traffic that I either control and don't control into traffic I own. So I own it, it's free. I can just send out emails whenever I want. But these ones I got to pay for, right? And so with traffic I control, it used to be like I would send all that traffic just to a squeeze page, right? And then they opt in the squeeze page, and then boom, now it's traffic I own. Now I own it. I can send emails whenever I want. But like you said, like Facebook and other networks, they don't like that as much. They know that we're taking their traffic from them.
Sure.
And so they're making it harder and harder. And then also traffic I don't control, like people don't just randomly land on my squeeze page. They land on my blog, and they land in different places. So for me, I'm always thinking like I've got to modify. Like my goal of content on my blog or my goal of anything like that is like the content's good. That's awesome. But my real goal is to get that person to become traffic I own. That's my only real purpose. And so what we do is we typically take, if you look at any of our blogs, like the blog content someone comes for is there, right? The article looking for, or if they're on Facebook looking for something, it's there. But like above that, like the top 1/3 of my blog is a modified squeeze page. You come there, it's like, hey, here's whatever the offer is, opt in here, and then down below is the article. And obviously they're coming for the content, but my goal is their eyes hit this thing, they opt in, and boom, now they're traffic I own. Now I can do all the cool stuff I need to do with them. And so that's kind of how my thought process works is how do I take this content, all the things I'm putting out there for free, things that people are randomly finding, how do I make sure that that's structured in a way where I'm converting those people into traffic I control? Because now I can build a relationship and all the other things we need to do. And the only way I can do that with the blog is by kind of making those modified squeeze pages.
Yeah, no, people always kind of get jaded and they say, oh, you're giving out value so you can make money. But the truth of the matter is, no one can give out value if you can't monetize it somehow. I mean, you're not a not-for-profit, and even not-for-profits, they got to make money to stay around there. So, I mean, you give good value, use these blog pages, but you're using the other assets on the blog page, the top third, right-hand, left-hand, probably links within the blog, probably offers on the bottom, places they go to take the next step. Another thing that's important, if they like the content that's in your blog, why wouldn't they want to take the next step anyways? It's not like, hey, I'm done being helped, I got this strategy, but I don't really want to implement it, so I'm mad at Russell for giving me an opportunity to actually implement it quickly in my business. So, I mean, that's just great. So I love that. Traffic you control and traffic you don't control in the traffic you own. So no, that's very cool. Well, Russell, I know I said we'd keep you for about 45 minutes here. Just before we let you go, I mean, I can't recommend you get russellsbook.com secrets enough. Go down below the video here, click on that. Don't just get the book, though. Like you said, look at the next pages behind it. Look at what he's doing, what he says. I mean, you can learn as much probably going through those as you will from the entire book. I mean, think of it as a $7.95 entrance fee to get a total education in how to build out your offer. Just look at those, screenshot them, do that sort of thing, and really learn from those. But Russell, what else should people know about your book? What are they going to get out of it if they go through and read it? And the only reason I haven't gone through, I know you sent it to our office, but stuff to Nick, just so you know, especially if it has food or anything related, Nick extracts all the good stuff out of it, and it gives me the promotional part of it. He's like, oh yeah, Russell sent this to me. So I don't get the t-shirts, the keychains, anything like that.
He takes all the good stuff.
So yeah, and Omaha Steak went around. I guess he can eat 50 pounds of steak really quick himself. But anyways, about the book, what else should people know about this?
Yeah, well, the book, I said, we have high end coaching programs and consulting, and when someone comes in, someone hires me for that. Like we've got a program, it's $1 million program, and people pay us $1 million for it. And when they do that, there's a process I take people through, and it's the exact same for every single company that comes to our $1 million program. Same people come through our masterminds. It's the exact same process, and that's what I put in this book. Like a lot of books are like a big long form sales letter. That's not what this is at all. This is the process. So this is, if you were to come to my and hire me for that, my first thing we'd sit down and I'd go through the secret formula. I'd be like, hey, who's your dream client? What's the bait we're going to create? What's the result you want? And I'd go through exactly here. And the next page would be the next thing. And like it literally is the process I take people through. And one other cool thing, I don't know if you even know this, but this is a bonus that has been live this week. It'll probably be gone this weekend. I'm not sure. But for anyone who buys the book, I actually did a 3-day workshop with all my $25,000 clients where I went through all of this and showed it like in a workshop. We charged $10,000 for these guys to come to the workshop. Anyway, the bonus I'm doing right now, because we're trying to sell as many of these as we can right now, is I actually gave you guys the entire video recording of the 3-day workshop. This is a course we can and will be selling for $2,000 in the future. You guys get it for free when you buy the book. You buy the book, and then on the last page, you create your account, you log in there, and all the videos from that 3-day event are in there. And so you may not be able to read the book because we can't ship this until the 21st, but you log in the members area, you've got 3 days worth of content of me teaching this stuff to my highest level clients in great detail. That's kind of a gift we're giving you guys for taking action during this kind of pre-launch thing. But this book's important for me. I think it should be important to you guys as well. It'll take you through the process. It's a fun read. It's easy. I have tons of diagrams and sketches, and I think it's something that is going to serve you guys. I hope you just use it, implement it, and you will see the changes happening in your business and in your life when you do it. And that's what gets me fired up. So I'm excited for you guys to have it, and I appreciate you letting me come on and share it with the whole audience. And hopefully you guys get a chance to get it. And please tell me your feedback afterwards. Let me know the results you get from it, because that's the best part for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, people can go on Amazon. I mean, you can actually pre-order it on Amazon. You don't get all the bonuses. And I mean, to talk about the bonuses, Russell, yeah, I ordered it. I didn't even look at the bonuses. I mean, it's the book, what the bonuses were. Then I get this email, and it's got all these videos. I thought they'd be like 2 5-minute videos, that sort of thing. I click, and it's like got a 2-hour runtime on it, and there's like 10 of them or 15 of them or something like that. I mean, there were just way too many. So I'm like, I got to carve out a weekend to go through these things. So, I mean, these are serious bonuses. Honestly, I thought they were going to be like testimonials and stuff like that about it. But I mean, it's the real deal stuff there. So I mean, bonuses alone are just incredible from this. I'm looking forward to the book. Took his copy. He doesn't dare leave it here, or else he'll get that stolen from us. But yeah, I mean, get the book. Click on the button below. Get that. $7.95 for the shipping. It'll be sent out to you in a few weeks. I think if you go on right now, if I was looking on Amazon, it's like $17 before shipping or something like that if you pre-order it on there. So, I mean, it is the real deal. This is a real book, not one of those kind of book offers. Nothing wrong with those. But, no, Russell, thank you so much for your time. We look forward. I got word you're coming back in November. You're actually one of our main stage big featured speakers in November at our Info Summit again. So, looking forward to that again. So, I will let you go, Russell, but all those watching, click on the book, get it if you haven't already, and we will talk to you guys later.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Russell.